The moon has always captivated the human imagination. Since ancient times, we've watched its phases pass overhead, waxing and waning in the skies above every civilization on Earth. We've charted calendars by it, written myths about it, sent poems, prayers, and eventually, people. And through it all, we believed we knew it. A pale, quiet world, a relic of the solar system's earliest days. Still, silent, and geologically dead. But that belief has been slowly and quietly shattered. Because beneath its frozen surface, the moon is not as silent as it seems. It quakes, not once in a while, not faintly. It quakes regularly. It quakes violently, and in ways that continue to puzzle scientists, even decades after the data first arrived on Earth. The discovery of this seismic activity began with the Apollo program. Between 1969 and 1972, NASA astronauts left more than just flags and footprints on the lunar surface. They left behind a network of scientific instruments designed to monitor the moon long after the astronauts had returned to Earth. Among these devices were seismometers, machines intended to record tremors and vibrations deep beneath the surface. From 1969 to 1977, these seismometers quietly collected data, and what they recorded was nothing short of astonishing. More than 12,000 moonquakes were detected over the span of those 8 years. That's not a typo. Thousands of seismic events shook the moon during that relatively short period, revealing that our nearest celestial neighbor is far from inert. Scientists eventually categorized these events into 4 distinct types of moonquakes: deep moonquakes, shallow moonquakes, thermal moonquakes, and impact-related moonquakes. Each type tells a different story about what's happening inside, and sometimes on the surface, of the moon. Deep moonquakes are perhaps the most rhythmic and predictable of the 4. These tremors originate hundreds of kilometers below the moon's surface, some over 700 kilometers deep, and yet they recur in the same locations with almost mechanical precision. Roughly every 27 days, the same areas experience the same levels of seismic stress. This regularity pointed scientists to a surprising source: Earth. The gravitational pull of our planet doesn't just raise tides in our oceans. It also tugs at the moon, generating enough tidal stress to cause internal shifts deep inside its crust and mantle. These repeated stretches and compressions lead to predictable, rhythmic moonquakes. But while the deep quakes are interesting, it's the shallow moonquakes that truly demand our attention. These events occur much closer to the surface, often within just tens of kilometers, and some have registered magnitudes up to 5.5 on the Richter scale. That may not sound enormous by Earth standards, but it's strong enough to cause significant structural damage. What's worse is that these shallow moonquakes can last much longer than an average earthquake on Earth. Due to the moon's dry, rigid crust and lack of an atmosphere or molten interior, seismic waves are not absorbed or dampened efficiently. As a result, the moon's surface doesn't just shake, it resonates. Vibrations can carry on for 10 minutes or more, and in one case, almost an hour. The causes of these shallow moonquakes are still debated. One prevailing theory is that the moon is gradually shrinking as its interior continues to cool. Just like a grape shriveling into a raisin, the moon contracts, causing its brittle outer crust to crack and fold. These breaks form fault lines, and over time, stress builds up along them. When that stress is suddenly released, a shallow moonquake is born. Supporting this idea are images captured by NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, which show long, curved ridges, scarps, spread across the lunar surface. These features are geologically young and align with the idea that the moon's surface is actively shifting even now. Beyond internal forces, the moon is also subject to dramatic environmental stress from temperature changes. A lunar day lasts about 29 Earth days, meaning that the moon spends 2 straight weeks in sunlight followed by 2 weeks of darkness. During the long lunar night, temperatures can plummet to minus 170 degrees Celsius. When the sun finally rises again, the surface heats rapidly, soaring to over 120 degrees Celsius in a matter of hours. This extreme thermal expansion causes the outer layers of rock to expand, crack, and shift violently, resulting in what we call thermal moonquakes. These aren't massive, but they are constant and widespread. The very cycle of lunar day and night is enough to keep the crust in a near constant state of stress and release. Then there are the moonquakes caused by impacts. Unlike Earth, the moon has no protective atmosphere to shield it from meteoroids. Every year, the lunar surface is peppered with impacts, ranging from tiny particles to boulder-sized rocks. Each impact sends shockwaves into the moon's crust, some shallow, some deep, depending on the size and speed of the collision. While these impact events are not mysterious in origin, they remind us just how exposed the moon really is. A reminder that the celestial environment beyond Earth is far from calm or gentle. What makes all these quakes even more intriguing is how they behave. Earthquakes on our planet are typically brief, a few seconds, maybe a minute or two in severe cases. But on the moon, due to the lack of moisture, molten layers, and atmosphere, there's nothing to absorb the energy. So instead, the vibrations bounce back and forth inside the moon's solid body, echoing in slow motion. This has led to a haunting description among scientists: the moon rings like a bell. And this isn't just a poetic turn of phrase. It's a literal observation based on data. After a shallow moonquake, the seismic vibrations don't die away quickly. They carry on, gradually fading, like the echo of a massive chime struck deep within the rock. Some have suggested that this ringing behavior could reveal more about the moon's internal structure, perhaps even hinting at partially molten regions hidden beneath its rigid crust. More recently, scientists have begun using artificial intelligence to reanalyze the Apollo-era seismic data. With modern computing power, we can extract subtle patterns from the noise, things that were invisible to researchers decades ago. This has led to refined quake maps, better localization of seismic sources, and the discovery of links between specific faults and shallow quake activity. In short, our understanding of the moon's interior is improving, but many questions still remain. And these questions are no longer academic, because humans are going back. NASA's Artemis program, along with global partners and private industry, plans to return astronauts to the moon in the coming years. But this time, it's not just a visit. This time, the goal is permanence, to build a long-term human presence on the lunar surface. Lunar habitats, research stations, launch facilities, power systems. All of this must be constructed in an environment where the ground may shift beneath your feet, unpredictably and for minutes at a time. Understanding the moon's seismic nature isn't just a scientific curiosity anymore. It's a matter of safety, of engineering, of survival. We must know where the active faults are. We must understand how structures behave under low-gravity, quaking conditions. We must design with resonance in mind, because once the moon starts shaking, it won't stop quickly. The moon is not the dead, silent world we once thought it was. It is alive, not with life, but with motion, with stress, with memory. It holds the scars of a violent past and the tremors of an active present. As we prepare to step onto its surface once more, not as visitors, but as residents, we must listen carefully to what it's telling us. Because beneath the dust and silence, the moon is still speaking.